Hey, it's About Town Deb and Yvonne Murphy, my Sassy Soul Sister. Welcome back.
Girlfriend, miss you so much.
I know, I miss you. I'm kind of a little intrigued. What are we talking about?
We are intrigued because I've decided that the theme should be something along the lines of Once Upon a Time. And then we're going to fill in that blank.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
In Nevada near the silver mines, there's a kind-hearted woman. She's looking so fine, always taking care of her community. Bringing folks together is her cup of tea. She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
Hey guys, welcome to City Talk. I am Debbie McCarthy, your host. I'm so happy, as you heard in the preview, Yvonne Murphy, my Sassy Soul Sister, is in the house.
I need to see you more often. You're amazing.
Did I not tell you? I texted you.
I know.
So this woman has been on me, texting me, giving me encouragement through my recovery. I'm so grateful. So in return, she gets Dorit's chocolate.
I get chocolate.
She's so sweet. I had to give her something sweet.
Yes, I love chocolate.
But no, it's been a process. I've been talking about the recovery and I'm on the tail end. I think I have another less than a week.
You got your glow back.
I'm getting my glow back.
Yes.
And I'm able to eat a little bit more. And nice. I also have learned through this process, and you guys out there listening, I didn't realize how when you are on a restricted diet or an alcohol-free diet or whichever diet, we all assume when we're not on that, we just eat anything and we don't care. And we don't think about the people around us that are gluten-free. Well, I'm actually dairy-free, but I don't usually pay attention. And that's so far. That's why I had a tummy ache forever, but I'm done with that. I'm going to listen to my body now.
Listen to your body.
But we just came off a wine weekend in El Dorado County.
Okay, so tell us about it. What happened?
It's pretty cool. We had 15 of us and we stayed in Somerset Fairplay. It's called the Hideaway. It's this beautiful 6,000 square foot house with a pool and a jacuzzi and a wraparound porch and wraparound porch and fire pits. It was just incredible. Beautiful kitchen. And we were lucky to have one of our guests happen to be a chef.
Lovely.
So we didn't want him, but he kept offering to help. So thank you, Chef Anthony. And it was just really nice. We had such a good group, and our ages, it was really cool. It was between, I want to say 27 and 84.
Fantastic.
How cool is that?
That's
couples,
pretty cool.
Singles, widow, a variety.
Pretty cool.
And everybody, it was so cool. Barbara, who I want to say 84 or somewhere in there, her spirit, I was I want to be you. She walked and she hiked with us, and we played games against humanity, which could be a little bit, risque.
Whoa.
And she just joined right in, and we were all embarrassed. What is she going to say?
But we forget that an 80-year-old used to be 24 years old, right? We forget that they were young ones, and they have a life, and they still have fire in the belly. So.
She had lots of fire in her belly. Good. So we really enjoyed her. But with all that said, I had asked the guest, what foods, what should we be aware of bringing and not bringing? So gluten and lactose were our two. And there were 3 of us who were not drinking for the weekend. So I thought, if you're going, part of it's a whole day of wine tasting.
Right.
I want them to feel included.
Right.
So Instagram and different things, I've been looking and I found this, and I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong. So apologize. Aplos. It's Greek, and it is a non-alcohol, and it is hemp infused, which doesn't have any of the other stuff that people get freaked out. But it's very calming, and there's dandelion. Well, it's infused with hemp. And it's basil and all these cool things. Yeah. And they're adaptogens? Am I saying that right?
Yep.
So I didn't even know what that was or what it does. So then I found this new drink for me and it's a water, and it has a little bit of sugar. It has all these healthy things. So I thought at each tasting, I purchased this and had some other stuff. So I took the buy and I added, and I don't know whether Yvonne wants to try it or not. It's calming.
I didn't want to put lipstick on the glass.
Oh, I don't care. So I'm just going to pour a little bit on in here. And this, as you could see, we really liked it because this one's empty.
Hello.
And this was called Arise. And this had agave flower, lemon, verbena.
Oh, they're different.
They're different. This has black barwalk, infused with adaptogens, non-alcohol spirit. So I'm going to have a sip. And this
have a sip and tell us.
So I had more of the
Okay, so here's the deal. It is a wise move on your part to have something for people to drink that for whatever reason.
I just felt like we're walking into the tasting room. So here you have 15 of us and all the wine is set out. And then you have 4 of us who aren't drinking okay, I'm just going to sit here.
So normally what we do in those circumstances, we've been drinking ginger ale or tonic water or somebody's sparkling water but this gives you an option to have something that's flavored.
It's flavored. And I just thought, and I bought 3 other different versions of different beverages. And when they walked in, they already had their wine glass there. And so after they described the wine, I said, okay, gals, we're going to try this and, let me know what you think. So we had 3 stops and I had 3 different kinds of options at each stop. And I wanted them to know that we cared about them. So I think they were really pleased that they had an option to pick from.
I think it's good to have an option. And I'm saying this, I'm embarrassed that I'm saying this because my husband is a sommelier. So I don't really know about this yet, but there has to be products within the wine family.
I agree.
Designed for people who are diabetic or recovering from surgery or have addiction issues and they're not supposed to drink. And the other thing I think we could do with these non-alcoholic drinks is we could travel with our own, for me, it would be what I call a champagne glass. I have a red Baccarat crystal glass someone gave me for a gift. And I just travel with my own glass and just pour whichever you want to pour in the glass.
I agree.
So it's the glassware as well that makes the experience.
And even in the end of when you have a really crazy day, and you're used, everybody likes a little happy hour, have a glass of wine. I'm just drinking this and I have different flavors I can mix with it. So I'm just saying, I want to thank Aplos for sending me these, they gifted them to me and I took them for the weekend and it really, really helped me enjoy a full wine weekend with 15 people from Friday to Monday. And I was just fine. So I appreciate all of you out there that have an eating, where you have to watch what you eat. I give you so much credit and kudos because it's tough.
Well, it could be for medical reasons, physical reasons, spiritual reasons. Yeah. I mean, I have people in the faith, particularly pastors and their wives, they don't drink because they gave a vow not to drink. Yeah, but they always say to me, Yvonne, if you want a glass of wine, go ahead and have it. You didn't make the vow we made. Yeah. I mean, it's not a Christian vow not to drink. It's a pastoral vow not to drink. So people don't drink for a lot of reasons. Medication that you're on that tells you not to.
Well, we're going to say cheers before we go to break.
Well, let's cheers.
Let's do a friendship cheers. When we come back, we're going to, find out what this Once Upon a Time is all about. We'll be right back. It's Deb and Yvonne.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Fenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Fenix Productions.
She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's about town, Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. My Sassy Soul Sister, Yvonne Murphy, in the house.
I'm here for you. I love you, girl.
I know. I'm so excited. I haven't seen her, too long.
Yeah. Feels like 6 weeks, give or take.
6 weeks, because I've been doing this recovery thing. And so Yvonne, every now and then she gets this little bee in her bonnet.
Bee in the bonnet, child.
And she's like, we're going to talk about this. And, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, okay. So when she said, she goes, okay, I'm just going to like read her text. So out there, we are keeping this real.
Yes.
This is actually, I copied and pasted this. She goes, I sent her from Yvonne. Once upon a time is my new podcast subject. This is where I'll give 1,000% of my view in life. Then she goes, first subject, the royal coronation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's see what she's going to talk about. But it is about your story. We do all have a story.
We do.
So we want you to sit back and have a listen because Yvonne's going to be sharing her thoughts.
Well,
so here
when
we
were children,
sponsors.
Sponsors. Hello.
Crystal Mason, Surratt Law, and we are in Sparks, Nevada at the Musicians Rehearsal Center. Okay. All you know.
We love the sponsors. Yeah. So thank you so much. So, when we were kids, I kind of recall that magical time in the evening after your bath and your grandmother, or your aunt or your mom or dad or whoever it was, babysitter, you got a bedtime story. And it always started out, and this is old school, once upon a time. So I'm sitting at work the other day and my coworkers and I were just talking about news, and the royal coronation was the subject matter. And I just kind of lost it. But I wanted
to.
Well, yeah, it's just edgy because first of all, I don't appreciate, I won't say his name, that person changing the instruction that his deceased mother left in place. The mother, sweet Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, God rest her soul, had given his wife a title, but Charles decided that he wanted to change that title. And so instead of being Queen Consort, she's now just going to be the Queen. I'm sorry. Hello, people. So let me tell y'all a story.
Tell me a story.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful, kind, blue-eyed blonde princess.
Ooh.
We loved her. Her name was Diana. And there was also a deceitful, mean man and his mistress. We're not calling their names. The prince and his mistress hurt the princess. And we know that's true because the princess gave an interview where she said, "But you people don't understand what's going on. There are 3 people in my marriage." Well, we now know that was true. And sadly, years later, the princess died in a horrible car crash in my favorite city in the world. I hated that it happened there in Paris. So I was thinking about this whole royal coronation thing, and it's not my intention to offend anyone. And let me tell you, my husband is connected to the whole UK thing because he was born and raised in New Zealand, and their parliament is all about the monarchy. But at the end of the day, I think it is in poor taste to have all this pageantry, all this drama. They're pulling out crowns that they haven't worn since the 1800s and guild coached transportation, 6 tons of gold. I'm sorry, 40% I did some research. 40% of the people in the UK don't even want the monarch. They think the whole thing is just enough is enough. That day has passed. 40% of the people, that's almost half. The other thing I think that's interesting is you have a huge number, like 38.2% of the people are living in some level of poverty.
Well,
so I don't think we need to be flashing all the gold and the diamonds and riding down the street. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be the king, and he can make his wife whatever he wants to make her. At the end of the day, they can go to the fancy church, Westminster Abbey. They can put the little thing on his shoulder and give him his little diamond ball to hold, and he can wear his cloak. Okay, I'm happy for you. But we don't need to make that national television or worldwide television. I just think it's in poor taste. And the reason I think it's in poor taste is I was thinking about a song that I grew up with. And in 1970, which, my goodness, that was 50 years ago, The Temptations sang a song called Ball of Confusion. And I just want to give you quickly some of the lyrics.
Let's enjoy this.
So these are the actual lyrics. Air pollution, revolution. Gun control, sound of soul. Shooting rockets to the moon.
Wow.
Kids growing up too soon. And politicians say more taxes will solve everything, and the band played on. Eve of destruction, tax deduction, city inspectors, bill collectors, mod clothes in demand, population out of hand.
Wow.
Suicide, too many bills, hippies moving to the hills. People all over the world are shouting in the war. And the band played on.
Wow.
I'm sorry, people. Is that not what's happening right now?
I have like goosebumps.
Is that crazy?
That is so...
50 years ago, a bunch of guys in my home city of Detroit are singing a song. And I'm looking at the world now going, nothing's changed. what is happening? It's out of control. So I just feel very passionate that when I think about homelessness, when I think about plastics in the ocean, single mothers trying to raise children, all the shootings that we're having. And, you know, as an African American, of course, I'm upset about the little boy that was shot. But the next day, a beautiful blonde woman in New York, blonde, blue-eyed woman pulled into the wrong driveway or down the wrong road, and she died. The man shot and killed her. I'm sorry. We're living in a world that's completely out of control. And I just think we need to pause and consider. And I would like to think we've made progress, but I'm kind of feeling like we haven't, because there's scandals everywhere. And I just think, you know, as a nation, as a people, as a community, it'd be really a good idea if we asked ourselves, what am I doing to make this world a better place? And for some of us, we're environmentalists. And for some people, we volunteer time. And for some people, we donate. But whatever it is we do, I just think we should be mindful of the fact that a song we sung 50 years ago is still relevant today. And that just kind of has me worked up a bit. Now, that's just one side of the coin. I mean, you know, is the glass half empty or is the glass half full? For me, the glass is always half full. And there's a lot of beautiful things we can celebrate, but we don't really talk a lot about the good things to celebrate. So I think we need to find those.
Well, here's a quote. Give me a quote. This is from Abraham Lincoln. So you think how far back that goes, okay? The quote is, and in the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years.
Wow.
So when you read all these things, like, you know, when you're saying air pollution, revolution, gun control, sounds of soul, you know, tax deductions, city inspectors, you know, all of that stuff, it just freaks me out to think that it's still happening.
It is.
But if you can how are we living our life day to day? How are we living through all that craziness?
And that is where it starts with us. If I make a difference for me and my household, with my friends, with the people I work with, the people I worship with, if I make a difference and my household has some sort of impact and my neighborhood makes a difference, and then our community, wherever we spend our time, makes a difference, our city makes a difference, our county makes a difference, our state, then it balloons out and it becomes a worldwide healing.
So we want you listening to think about that. What are you doing in your household? And then this other one was, the only way to live life is to the fullest. And sometimes it's really hard because it's saying life can be tough. We're the first one to say, I'm saying I had a tough 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes. And we have challenges, and we need to go through those challenges. But every now and then life gives us breaks.
We got to strike a balance.
We have to
everything I said is true, but then, you know, we've got wildflowers blooming in California as a result of all that rain.
Yeah, but I was there. I haven't seen California so green.
This is amazing.
And in so long.
It's almost scary. It's so beautiful.
Because now what's going to happen, though, when it all, boom, the heat comes out and it dries it up.
As I was driving here, I got to drive past a little street where I got to peek over and see the Truckee River.
Oh.
I saw motion that I had to do a double take, like, wow, that's our river. So there's a lot to be excited for, and there's a lot to look forward to. But I just think we need to be mindful of people. We got to do better. In order to be better, we got to do better, and we all got to own it. And all those things I rattled off, I'll take responsibility for however I contribute to the madness. But you know, you can't heal what you won't acknowledge. You just can't.
Very true. Well, that's what it's saying. It says we can believe you. We believe you deserve it, but you have to believe it.
You do.
So believe to the greatest extent. Everybody will say, hey, Deb, that was great. Or, you know, keep doing that. I'm like, well, if I don't believe it was good, then I'm not going to feel it. But if somebody else is saying, that's a really good thing you did. Oh my gosh, we're so thankful. We're so grateful. I should sit back and go, wow, I should continue to do that.
Yeah.
It was a good thing. And I just feel like we all need somebody in our corner to notice when you're out there doing something good.
It helps.
It gives you that little incentive. And at our weekend, our About Town Deb Adventure weekend, I was sitting like on the edge of the bar as everybody was cooking and laughing. And I just sat there with my little Eplos. And I'm like, oh, look at everybody. I mean, the chef was chopping.
It's a Kodak moment.
It was a Kodak moment. And I took a little video. At some point, I'll have it all done. But it was so nice to see so many people of so many generations sharing their story laughing about their stories, sharing their failures, sharing their joys. And Joe Dutra with Kimmy Candy and Shannon, they were there. And Shannon, Joe said, every morning I wake up and I'm like, you know what? I'm very grateful. And I feel 30 years old today and I'm going to act 30.
Okay, at some point with age, you just got to start going backwards.
No, but he just said, you know what? When you wake up, you feel good, you believe it, and you go make a difference. So we're going to go to break. Speaking of that, we come back. We're going to continue our conversation. Yvonne Murphy, my Sassy Soul Sister.
I'm here for you.
About Town Deb. We'll be right back.
Bye.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
You know that's what she said. Come on, let's have some fun with About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. My Sassy Soul Sister is here in the house. So we pride ourselves in being real.
Yes.
And like I said, I read to you her text, and then I'm thinking, okay, that's where she's going. Where am I going to take it on my part of it to blend in? And literally this morning is when I did all this research, and it reminded me of Joe Dutra when he said that. So I looked and I'm like, well, wait a minute. I just realized I had wrote this down to talk about. Now I want you guys to listen too. Okay, this is for you as much as it is for Yvonne.
Your homework assignment.
This is your homework assignment. How old would you be if you didn't know how old you were?
42.
Whoa, you already had it.
42.
You know what?
I like the 40s.
I'm going to say 52 because I started over at 50.
Yeah, I think in the 40s and 50s is when you're still young enough to be young and old enough to know better. Yeah, because you're not making silly mistakes at 42. You've gotten through the 20s. You've gotten through the 30s. You got some experience under your belt. You're not quite 50 yet. So you still got some fire in your tank. Still a little boom, boom going on. I think I'd be 42.
So
and I think I am 42 in my mind. Like, I actually pulled my birth certificate out once thinking.
And say, how old am I?
No, it's kind of like, it was when they sent me the ARP card. And I go, why did they mail that to me? I was insulted. And then a couple of years later, I got a Medicare card. And I called this woman at the 800 number and gave her a piece of my mind.
I'm excited.
I
turn
did.
65. I want the
I gave her a piece of mine and I went off on it and I said, oh no, this is a mistake and blah, 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 blah.
What did she say?
And she said, is this Yvonne? And I said, it is. And she goes, and is this your birth date? And I said, it is. And is this your social? And she says, well, ma'am, the reason you got the card is because you're on Medicare. What? Child, have you seen me? Hello? All this fabulosity could not be on Medicare, right? And she says, so who's your insurance with now? And I told her, and she said, how much is that costing you? I said, well, $1,400 a month. She says, well, good news for you. You no longer have to pay that. And I had an attitude adjustment.
Did you adjust your attitude?
I did.
Better have.
I'm like, ooh, child, I could see some new Louis Vuitton perfume. I can see a new bag in the closet. Okay, I can see things happening.
Well, that's why I'm kind of looking. So I'm looking forward to getting the perks and the knowledge of becoming that age. But at the same time, I agree. I mean, when I look in the mirror, well, not even, sometimes I wake up and think, what the hell happened? But there's other times, like at this weekend, when we had such a range of ages, I was looking around saying, wow, we are all totally the same.
Well, and it's relative.
Equal.
Age is relative. Like you
can
be 29 and act like you're 90.
You have an old soul.
And you can be 84 and act like you're 30. So I do think it's all relative. Yeah. And I do think age is just a number. And speaking of age, I was sad to hear this morning that someone I grew up with, Harry Belafonte, is no longer with us. But he lived to be 96. How sad can you be about that? I mean, he had a full life. But no, it's a number. It's just a number.
So with all of those numbers, who do you connect the most with? What do you have a certain I mean, I know like Amber is in her 20s and she has an old soul. And then, we were with Barb this weekend. She was in her 80s and I just adored her. So I kind of feel like I don't look at an age. I connect with the soul. the person.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's good for all of us to have a mixture. I think when you're younger, you should have some older people in your life. There's wisdom there.
I agree.
And I also think as you're aging, so that you can stay relevant, especially where technology is concerned, because it's very common in my office for me to scream, I don't know how to get it off the G drive and cut and paste it and put it wherever you want me to. No. So I'm screaming for help often. I think you need young people in your life, especially if you got an iPhone or a computer at your house, but just to be relevant to what they're into. I try to keep up with younger music. I listen to things that you wouldn't think I listen to. I listen to Katy Perry. I listen to younger people and try to understand, and because I think it keeps you young and fresh and relevant. And that is important what I just said, because I had breakfast the other morning with a gentleman in his 80s, and I realized when him and his wife, and I realized when we were done with the breakfast, he's stuck in a quantum time loop.
Well, what? Oh, what do you mean? What do you explain that?
So it's kind of like he's talking about the world from his perspective, from his day, from his generation. He's not marching to the tune of today. So he's talking about all the papers that he's published and all the things that he has done. And I don't want to be that person as I'm aging. I don't want to be totally stuck in the way it was back in the day. Back in the day is gone. And there's some wisdom there, but we're in today. So I do think it's a balance to do exactly what you did. Have a fabulous weekend with people as young as 20 and as old as 80. I think that's smart, actually.
I totally agree with that.
It's a good use of time.
I used to love that's why I love my dad hanging out with all of us. People loved having him around because he's had stories from the past, but he saw the future.
Yeah.
He knew that we were the future, and that he hoped that I would keep moving forward and always go forward. And then I'm just going to ask you this other question, because, we have to go forward. We have to take risks, and we have to do that. So what do you think is worse? And I want you out there listening, failing or never trying? I know it's a pretty question we get asked. Failing or never trying?
Never trying.
Is there something you've always wanted to do and you thought you might fail, but then you tried and you did it?
I think I have a lifetime list of that sort of thing, but I think the real tragedy is not to try. To fail is just a means of measure that you didn't accomplish your goal, but at least you took the steps necessary to know. I think when you don't try, then you just never know. And I don't want to live in the space of not knowing. So I would rather attempt to do something and fail at it than to, get to a place in life where you got regrets of all the things you never tried. You got to try things. And everything's not for everybody. You're not going to be good at everything. Some people cook well. Some people can swim. Some people can hike. Some people are athletes. Everybody can do something, but none of us can do everything. So I don't see it as a failure. If I attempt to do something and it doesn't work out the way I think it should, I just go, okay, well, that's interesting. Can I modify whatever it is and maybe come at it from another direction, another angle? Is there a way around it? But I think not to try, then you're living in that space of, I wonder if I could have done such and such. Just do it.
Well, speaking of that, which worries you more out there? Which worries you more? Doing things right or doing the right things? Whoa.
Doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing. Yeah. Yes, because I know I can turn things around. I could say the word wrong. I could put something back the wrong way. But if I know it's the right thing to do, it's okay if it's not perfect, but it's the right thing to do. And I feel like talking about the world today, I think when you make a decision or you have to make a choice. So if you're out there listening and you're thinking, do I do this or that? What do I do? Does your little gut say to you?
Deep down inside, I think I had a situation recently where I could have, it was a mean girl situation, a professional, I call it, it's like I was dealing with some corporate organizational bullies, just people who were creating chaos. And I could have responded in that negative tone, but I chose to take the high road and do the right thing. And the right thing was to be classy, to be peaceful, to be kind, and not just plug into drama for drama's sake. And so I made the choice to do the right thing. The right thing is to always take the high road.
I agree. So we want you to take the high road.
Take the high road.
Even though it's sometimes hard, guys.
Challenging.
It is challenging. And I know sometimes you're like, oh, do I really have to do that?
Sleep better at night.
But you do sleep better at night.
And the seeds you plant are the life you're going to live. So if you want to plant seeds of discourse and you want to plug into the dark and the negative and all that, then you're creating conflict in your own future life. So just do the right thing and be kind and be good and let it all work itself out.
Okay, we're going to take this one more step further.
Okay, take me one step further.
So we're always making, as we said, choices, right? Choices. We have to make a choice. Are you choosing to live your story or somebody else's story for you?
I'm definitely living my story.
I know you are.
And that started as a teenager. I was very clear somewhere around 14 what my life was going to be. And I declared it over the dinner table and almost caused my grandmother to have a heart attack I said.
Do you remember?
I do remember what I said. So let me do this in ice cream flavor. Okay. So I considered myself to be chocolate or butter pecan. And I said to my grandmother that I was going to marry a vanilla man. A little bit of a rebel. A little bit of a rebel, and that could be the French in me because part of my ancestry is French, and we're revolutionaries. But I was very clear that I was going to live the life I was going to live. That I was not going to marry some auto worker. Not that I have anything against auto workers. I got family that works in the auto plant, but I didn't want to limit myself to being a Blue Cross Blue Shield secretary, which at that time, that was the pinnacle for what women could do. You could be a nurse or you could be a secretary. I didn't want to limit myself to that. I said I was going to be the boss lady of the company and I was going to marry a vanilla gentleman and I was going to live in a fabulous house and have a fabulous life. And guess what? Hello.
Yeah, baby. But see, that's what is so important.
Yeah. It's got to be your life. This is my journey.
But I think you were blessed to be at that young age and know. At that age, I had no idea who I was. I didn't even, like I say, I turned 50 and I'm like, what music do I like? I'm liking everything because everybody else wants me to like it.
But you can all of it.
I can like all of it, but I didn't know I could. I thought I had to follow these rules and I had to do whatever you wanted.
The rules are you can like all of it.
So we're going to take our final break.
Yes.
And then we're going to come back. And Grandma B and Ellie, I love you. My mom is feeling better. I had said she had spent some time in the hospital and thank you, Ellie and all the doctors, everybody for helping her. We still have a process to go. So I'll be going to Palm Desert in LA a little bit more because that's what you do for family.
That's what you do
so
for family.
We are going to take our final break and be right back.
We'll be back.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
Ready to help from her toes to her head. Just give her a shout. Call About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
Hey, welcome back.
We're
Sassy
back.
Soul Sister, Yvonne and Deb. We are
in the house.
And we're, Yvonne had a little bee in her bonnet, so she shared that. And
I'm feeling better. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. We love you to share with us. You can message on About Town Deb on any of my platforms. I just feel like, we're talking all this stuff that frustrates us or that what should we do? How should we be thinking? All this. And this app, I keep having to look because I keep pronouncing it wrong. Aplos. And so this is what they have on their little brochure thing. And it makes so much sense. Our lives are so fast. With little time for reflection, we can be forgiven for confusing the art of living ambiguously with the art of living well. Aplos was conceived with the philosophy that there are these pleasures to be drawn from the simple things that surround us.
Yeah.
And I needed that this weekend, knowing that I was going to be having, 15 people, and we were coordinating and wine tasting and dinners and this and pool time and free time. And they had a card table and pool table. I mean, it was a lot going on. But I read that and thought, I'm just going to go sit on the porch and I'm just going to have a little sip of this and I'm just going to let them do their thing. And actually, one of the gals, Jill, said to me on Sunday, we are adults, Deb. we can do what we want. You don't need to entertain us. And I thought, wow, this is a good group. I don't have to. So it's kind of like I needed to give myself permission to just sit back. So speaking of permission, here we go. What permission do you need or want to move forward?
I don't.
You just do it.
Yeah, I don't need permission. I said to someone once, I had my 18th birthday a long time ago. 0 to 18, I need permission. At 18, I don't need permission. This is my life on my terms, and I get to choose. It's all about choices. And you get to choose who you are and what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And you just got to take ownership of it. So permission is appropriate when you're under 18. You got to ask your parents, can I use the car? Can I go out with Deb? Can I do this, that, or the other? Once you turn 18, I'm done asking permission. It's my terms, my life, my experience. So I'm not asking permission.
So out there listening, is there something that you've been wanting to do? You thought you needed permission to do it. You're over 18 or even over 21. And it's been like in your mind, like, I really have always wanted to go here, or I've always wanted to do this job. So it's like, what do you have to, if you have to, what do you have to lose? I mean, if you go for it, doesn't work.
Probably
you're right.
The biggest person you need to get permission from is yourself. Because
that's
once you're
hard sometimes.
Yeah. Once you're an adult, I mean,
how do you get past
work
that?
It out in your own head. I mean, you either do it or you don't, and you'll know the joys of it or you won't. We need to be easy with ourselves, and we do need to relax a little bit. And I love your friend for telling you we're grown people, we can entertain ourselves.
She said
it's
nicely,
not your job to be the cruise ship coordinator.
Right.
Let these people just do what they want to do. Go for a walk or play tennis or drink wine or not drink wine, sleep or eat or not. When you're on a leisurely weekend, it's about relaxing, and you just need to let people relax however they relax. And I used to say that I hate going on vacations where people book an excursion every single morning. So you're literally on vacation, jumping out of bed at the crack of dawn because you got to be downstairs in the lobby with the little lady with the flag. People, I don't want to come home from the vacation tired. So I have to give myself permission to relax, and you have to give yourself permission to say no. And when somebody says, I think it's a good idea we get up at 7:35 and go to the blah, blah, blah. Well, no. You go if you need to go, but I'm not going, because the whole idea of going on vacation is to relax. But we don't relax in real life. Why would we spend money for airfare or a cruise ship and spend thousands of dollars and not relax?
That was the point of this weekend.
Yeah.
We restructured it a little bit. Before, we would get up and we'd like have this breakfast that was there. And one of our guests said, can we just wake up when we want? And I said, of course you can.
Because you think about it, in real life, we don't get to do that. I have to get up at 6 o'clock. I have to go to work at a certain time. So you're forced out of bed whether you're rested or not. The whole idea of being on a weekend getaway or a vacation, can I just sleep until I naturally wake up?
And we did that. We told them
lovely.
that we would have, we would be sure to get up, at least get the coffee pot started. And George and I bought all the goodies and the fruit. So the first morning, we got up really early and we put everything out. Then the second night, they said, you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
I'm like, okay. So the second night, I'm like, I still did the coffee because I needed coffee.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
It was really cool because everybody just got up. And the couples got up separately. They'd get up, they'd have tea or coffee. You'd see them sitting out on the deck. And then and Joe Dutra would get up and take a walk in the morning. It was so nice. And they all said this was one of our best trips because Sunday was free day and everybody was up on their own schedule and everybody left when they wanted to leave. It was wonderful.
So my husband likes to get up really early, and he's very athletic, and he likes to get up to jog, and he likes to get up to swim laps. And so, and in his life, he does that. But I've decided that Saturdays are now called cool jazz Saturday mornings.
Ooh, I like that.
And what that means is we sleep until we naturally wake up.
Okay.
So we're not going to be swimming and hiking and Mount Kilimanjaro and all this high drama that needs to happen. No. We're going to sleep until we naturally wake up. We're going to have a leisurely stroll into the kitchen. He has espresso. I have regular coffee. We're going to just have a leisurely way of breaking into the day and not be committed to anything before 12 noon. And, I don't mind a little Bailey's in my coffee on Saturday. And you got the cool jazz in the background. And you just kind of ease into the weekend, because this madness of just jumping out of bed like it's on fire. Like, I gotta get up and we got to go. We got to be. No. There are 2 letters that covers a lot of territory, the N and the O. No.
I like that.
So if you practice that at home, when you go on vacation or you're hanging out with your friends, you can get up and make coffee for everybody, but they can get up and make their own breakfast. They know how to put fruit in a bowl.
It was really
They know how to
cool.
eat cereal, and they know how to make an egg. So,
and I can say this was just the perfect getaway, and the house was so amazing. So guys, if you need any pics of where you want to stay, contact Deb.
I need to go there.
Contact me. It's seriously 6,000 square feet, different bedrooms, different levels, the game room. It was just, and then the pool is up high with a jacuzzi. And it was just, I just wanted to say, and our hosts were so gracious. They did have the daughter and her husband, little baby, lived on site.
Wow.
So you knew that if you had a problem, they would be there.
Fantastic.
And I will be going back, and I will be inviting more people to go back, and we will be doing it as a staycation, where if you're going to spend a little extra money to have a beautiful home, I wanted people to enjoy the home.
Right. But people enjoy homes in their own way.
Right,
Some
but we
people
let them.
need to browse about and look and admire. Some people are just content to have a clean bedroom and a nice bath and go outside. I mean, everybody explores property different.
We had a private concert.
Wow.
Because
who was there?
Well, there was a piano. And I'm like, who plays the piano? Then they go, wait a minute, it plays itself. Oh. So the guys were playing cards or something in the kitchen, and there was like 4 of us or 5 of us girls sitting in this beautiful front room, and they put the piano player on, and we were all just sitting like this. We were clapping.
Oh, how lovely.
It was beautiful.
Very good.
So we had that, and we also had Crystal Basin came on Sunday night and did a wine dinner, and Marcolini's from Reno catered, which is kind of cool. They catered our Italian dinner.
Nice.
He made it Thursday, froze it, and our chef put it in the oven, and he made a salad. And
it sounds like lasagna, something.
It was lasagna. It was, and we had the spicy Sicilian something, and we had Alfredo with chicken, because some of us couldn't have red sauce. Honestly, it was so good, and we did that on purpose. I wanted nobody to have to cook on Sunday night. That was, we all cooked on Saturday. Sunday we had it pre-cooked. So think about it. You were taking a trip. It's okay to get something frozen and catered.
Well,
then nobody has to prep.
It sounds lovely. It sounds like you had a wonderful time.
I did. We're getting towards the end, so I am going to do one more quote, and then I want you to maybe share something you want to share of interest, because you're very good and wise. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. This one is, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Steve Jobs. And then one more, I have found that if you love life, life will love you back.
It will.
Arthur Robinstein.
So the only thing I want to say, I don't know if this is sharing, but I do believe that the most valuable commodity we all have, I don't care who you are, what your station is in life or your circumstances, the most valuable commodity you have is time. It's not your job. It's not where you live. It's not what you drive. Time is valuable. So we should honor it, use it wisely, not take it for granted. And so that's important. A quick update on what's been happening in my life. I finally got around to, I've been talking about this for about 29,000 podcasts. I finally got around to some massive cleaning this past weekend. And I have one of those vacuum cleaners where you can see what's going into the cup. Where does all this dust come from? We definitely live in the desert, but I've been cleaning, and I took the 2 china cabinets apart. I got window washing people coming, professional shredding companies coming. I'm giving away things like nobody's business. And it feels good to shed. It feels good to share. It feels good to clean. So spring cleaning is good. Shed and share. And the other thing I figured out, and we're down to just a few seconds, is I love that 50-lane bowling alley at GSR.
Oh,
if you haven't been over there lately, go over there.
So that's something you could do if you're coming to Reno or you live in Reno. Check out that.
It's fabulous.
But the main thing we want to tell you is that we love you. We're here together. We're one heart.
Yep.
And please remember, we like the glasses half full. So if you have a glass, isn't that right? Did I say
it's
it
half
right?
full?
It's half full. So remember, be kind, be generous.
Cheers.
And cheers to another amazing week ahead.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.